get to start to my right, Commissioner McWhite.
Can you move it along? Did I say anything? I think I said something about us going to the Asian pastors gathering. Anything about that?
Yes, you did.
I think I did, yeah. I don't think I have anything to add to that. Although I continue to meet with them.
Vice Mayor?
Sure. Today was a really cool day for me. I got to zip across the cities, about 4 or 5 meetings to read Little Munchkin Kids, a little book. Today was the National Literary, was it National?
It's from the Literacy Coalition's Read for the Record.
Right, so I got to read this really cool little book called Bunny Cakes. How many of you have read that book?
How many of you saw the movie?
Well,
There actually was one.
actually, I learned this morning, very early this morning, much to my surprise, there's actually a Max and Ruby have their own cartoon. They're TV stars. So I got quite the education today, but I got to read to about, I guess collectively about 150 or 160 children altogether. So I had a really, really cool time. I was down at For the Children, South Grade Elementary, and the Head Start program down in the Osborne community. So I really enjoyed spending some time with those kids today, and I hope they'll invite me back, because I've had a little trouble with the bigger words, and they were right there to help me out. So, so I look forward to going back. That's all I have for today.
What schools did you go to?
I was, I think we all of us had a chance to do that. I was at Barton Elementary, the Guatemalan Maya Center there this morning, and then at Highland Elementary, in the Guatemalan Maya Center there in the afternoon.
Excellent, thank you guys so much. Commissioner Amoroso, I know you were busy too.
I too got to read, and I took it one step further. I actually brought a bunny cake. So we got to eat lots of cake and we had lots of fun. I read at Bridges at Highlands, the Lakewood Library, and then again in the plaza, which got moved in because of the rain. Some kids were bussed in, and then we got to look at the library, and it was their first time at the library, so that was quite unique. The only other thing I wanted to mention too is we have trick-or-treating on the avenues coming up. October 31st, we have Evening on the Avenues, trick-or-treating on the avenues, and then also the library is doing a special program with Halloween balloon making and all kinds of fun stuff in front of the library. So invite all the kids out and come out for our brand new Evenings on the Avenue. And that's on the 31st.
That old brass band last week was good.
It was good.
They were good. Did you see that?
And Madam Mayor, I don't know if you got our total or not, but everyone reading today, 886 children were read to.
I was going to wrap up with that, but thanks. That's the stinky part about going last. Commissioner Zerdy?
Thank you, Mayor. We just had a good meeting last night at Bryant Park, speaking of neighbor associations, and thanks to the staff. And Jamie Brown came out and talked about how our budget would, and our operating budget and all was handled, and looking for the next year to 2015. So that was very informative. A lot of people showed up. It was hot though. It was an old-fashioned, what they call it, the glass house. So it's just all jalousie windows all the way around. And so it was supplied with fans though. We had our own personal fans. So we had fan gates. This weekend on Saturday, South Palm Park is going to have a median planting. They're planting cocoa plums. And so that's going to be in the morning, so we're going to be doing a little bit of digging and planting. So if you want to put a few things in the ground there, there's about 200 plants that are going to stick in the ground, so a few holes to dig. No sprinklers are going to get this up though. And I was on Friday at the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council as a member. We had a resolution for all aboard Florida, which basically wanted to request the governor to not allow the extraterritorial leasing taxes, which they were trying to put into the bill, to put taxes on areas outside of that corridor, which is up in the Beeline Highway. So just keep it in there. We kind of let them know as a planning group. And again, there's a lot of probably about 45 different people from around all the 7 counties that are in this whole area, so it's quite a good coalition. We also had a study on the U.S. Coast Guard, because on the railroad it goes by 3 fixed low-level bridges that have to lift up for the railroad. I lived near one New River in Fort Lauderdale for a long time, but there's two others up in St. Lucie and also in Waxahachie bridges. And so there's a study that was done, say, well, how long do they come up and lay down and block traffic and cause issues? And the U.S. Coast Guard has not come to a total conclusion about that yet. So I don't know how they're going through with this whole thing, and they don't have that study completed yet, but that's in progress. And we also have legislative priorities joining a lot of cities for sober homes, for legislation that will support minimum standards, as well as restore the water, help restore water legislation for our Lake Worth Lagoon, among other bodies of water. So that's always a good, if you just go on their website, Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council, and buzz through some of the topics, there's some really fantastic information. But it is a coalition of people at that planning level, which is pretty impactful to us. And it's done in a great spirit. And so that was I'm privileged, I feel honored to be part of that and report back to you.
Excellent. Yeah, as Commissioner Amoroso said, over 800 people today. I want to thank all my fellow commissioners and staff here at City Hall for taking time in their days to go to numerous schools all over the place. The kids were great. It was, they're like, so what does a mayor do? Do you sit in an office and watch television? Do you get to see movies? I mean, I heard everything today. They were so cute. So it was so much fun. And I really appreciate all the principals and teachers and stuff that helped us today. It is so fun. It's actually a gift to us, not the other way around, when we get a chance to be there. A real highlight of our day. And also in reference to education, we're going to resume meetings of our Education Council. And we formed this about a year ago now. We've got representatives from all the schools, some of the charter schools, the public schools, the high schools. And we brought back a number of items over the course of years. Of course, that homecoming parade, which we haven't had a conversation about for this next coming year. But I'd like to just throw it out there that we should return it to nighttime like it used to be, so that all the people can actually come out after work and see it. Just a little buzz in your ear.
We'll discuss that with the principal. It's kind of there.
Okay, yeah. But just let me throw it out there. Also, want to thank everyone for coming out on Friday. Before evening on the Avenue, we had a domestic violence awareness event, and touches a special place in my heart. And we did the proclamation out there before the band came out, and I just want to thank everyone for coming out and joining us. We lit up the purple lights for the month of October. And just to keep in mind that we're all here. We know so many of us have been influenced or impacted by that. And if you ever need to talk about it with anybody, you just give me a call. And our city is doing everything that it possibly can to be there for the people in our community. Also, let me see. I was at today North Grade Elementary Academy for Positive Learning and Sacred Heart School. They actually got 150 kids together at Sacred Heart all at once. So it was a lot of fun. And on a serious note, but a good note, we had the MPO meeting last week. Same thing, it's always the same week as the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council. The main goal at that meeting was to approve the long-range transportation plan. What that means is that's the county's map for projects that are coming up throughout the course of the next, it doesn't start till year 6. So you're looking at 2021. Right, yeah, 2020. So that would be, those are plans, they start considering them then. They were going to approve them, and as I've mentioned before, a lot of times I sit through those MPO meetings, and we have a lot of communities to the west of us that don't want a lot of projects that were planned 10 years ago. There's flyovers and all kinds of things that are going over residential neighborhoods, and a lot of those communities have kind of settled in and gotten used to the way things are, and they don't want those projects that they were planning. Those were the big things, all the crossovers and flyovers and things that people are like, hey, I live in a nice residential neighborhood, I don't want to fly over my house. So a lot of communities are kind of fighting those projects, and I've always said, we could use the money, we'll take the money here in Lake Worth to help with our infrastructure and fix our streets. And I'm always speaking up about that. Well, I actually did in this last meeting. And as you know, with 2020, we had talked about Boutwell Road in the course of the roadway projects. And I asked them before they went to vote if they would include Boutwell Road as part of the long-range transportation plan. And they all voted yes. So, with that said, it's on the long-range plan. It's not it's a long-range plan. But the good thing about it is that when we go, and I know I talk about this and I won't try to bore you with this, but when we apply for state and county monies and grants, one of the first questions, especially at the state level, is that project on the long-range transportation plan for Palm Beach County? And in the past, we've said, no, it's not. Now it is. So just because that plan is long-range, that kind of secures us in a spot, you know, for some funding and for getting a project done, but it also means that we can now go to other resources to apply for grants and get it much sooner than that, if possible. So that puts us in a good position as we head up to Tallahassee in the spring. And I'm very excited about that, and I want to thank my fellow board members at the MPO for seeing that, that our streets need help. And that was a good score for us, so thank you again. All right. Public participation of non-agenda